So welcome to everyone. I'm Rebecca Snyder, the MDDC Executive Director, and we are here today to reveal the secrets of MDDC's contests. So feel free to use the chat if you have questions, or just jump in. We're a small enough group that we can talk amongst ourselves. We are going to quickly go through the basics, the 5 W's. Who is eligible? What are the categories? When is the deadline? Where can I enter? And why enter? So we're going to start with the last first. So many people enter the contest for staff recognition. Lots of members like to publicize wins to their readers, and it's a great way to really demonstrate the power of your journalism and the quality of your journalism, your events, your advertising, and so forth. So it's a great showcase for your advertisers. To that end, we have several organizations that provide the certificate to the advertiser for their, if they're winning an advertising award, they'll share the love and give the certificate to the advertiser as well and give them a little extra spark. And it also is a great way to learn best practices and gain new ideas because you're seeing everyone's best work. So there's a lot there, and it's very helpful to sort of show your stuff and see what you're up against. So let's talk about who is eligible. All MDDC members and SPGA members are eligible. Now we have 8 circulation divisions so that contestants are always competing against similar organizations. So for instance, Division A is the dailies with 75,000 circulation and above. We also have, and it goes in circulation levels, which is actually tied to your MDDC dues as well. And we have an online only category. And then we have an SPJ category as well. So a first place prize is chosen in each category's division. So there's a first place winner for Division A, B, C, and so on. And then in our second round, all the first place winners from each division compete for a best of show. So there is a sort of single winner to crown all winners within each category. Now, work has to have been published in 2020. So if you have a series, if you have a campaign or anything like that, it needs to have ended in 2020. So you don't want to enter work that started in November and is going to end in March of 2021. It doesn't need to have started in 2020, but it needs to have ended in 2020. For advertising design awards, you can enter ads that have been designed by subcontractors or even outside companies, but the idea must have come from the publication itself. So if you're doing a design award, if you have consolidated all your layout and design into a central location, you can still enter it. The only thing you can't enter is if a client has given you an advertisement that maybe an agency has developed for them that's running in multiple publications outside your own group, because the idea hasn't really come from you all. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Hope silence means yes. Okay, great. So let's quick run through some categories. And I will not belabor our time together by walking through the contest packet. I'll show you exactly where it is. And this is the first page of it, that fearless journalism, which is our theme for 2021 and for the contest as well. All information about the contest is on our website, which is mddcpress.com/events/contests. So all those emails that you get from me saying the contest is open, come and get it, all goes to that portion of the website. And we'll go there as well so you can see how to access the portal and all that good stuff. There are 3 sections of categories. You've got revenue and promotion, design, and editorial. And this contest packet, which you see the front page of, is a downloadable PDF. And I really do recommend that you print that sucker out, keep it by your side as you're getting your contest entries together and organized, because otherwise it can feel like a really chaotic process if you don't have a level of organization ahead of time. And a little bit later, maybe we can talk just amongst ourselves about how you guys organize your entries to get them ready for contest submission. I personally feel like it's a great idea to just make a folder structure and throw in all the things that you want to enter, and you can name them with their category name. But that's just me. You guys do this on a much more regular basis. So in the revenue and promotion, actually, before I go there, you'll also see our 5 Dubs logo here. We have a podcast that we started last year, and we like to showcase what our members are doing in that podcast. So for instance, you see here, these are nominees for our Salesperson of the Year, for the entries for the FOIA Award, for Rookie of the Year. We're really trying to highlight what our members are doing. And so we use our podcast as just another outlet to do that. So we're going to quick talk about the categories. Revenue and promotion are first. That's traditionally some sales categories. And we have things like best events, community service campaigns, advertising program, and others. Publications can highlight their top reps by nominating them for Salesperson of the Year and Rookie Salesperson of the Year. And those personnel awards honor one person across all divisions. All of those categories are coded with an R in front of it. In design, there are categories for advertising design and news-driven design. And I'm going to go to our contest page just so we can start to see it a little bit. Can you all now see the MDDC website? Maybe not. I'm going to stop sharing for a second, and I'm going to share a different screen. So here we are in our friend, the MDDC website. And this is where you can download that full contest packet that we talked about and so forth. And you'll see in that contest packet, here's all the hows and whys. These are the R's that we talked about for revenue and promotion categories. In design, there's actually 2 types of design. There's advertising design and news-driven design. So we continually streamline our advertising design so that they are print or online, and you can see sort of the requirements of each. The editorially focused design categories are the same as last year, and you'll see them kind of down here. You have page 1 design, feature page, news page, all the things that you normally would have, they're still in D. They're not in editorial categories. We also have a designer of the year category, which I think we show in the back more with the personnel categories. And that honors one designer's body of work throughout the year. So this is not a, sort of a hall of fame, you can never enter it again kind of thing once you've won. It is meant to recognize the body of work in 2020, just like Salesperson of the Year is just for the year. It's not for the lifetime. We have a section for targeted publications, and again, there's an advertising driven side of it and a news driven side of it. So if you have questions, feel free to jump in. Now, editorial categories are the most numerous, and I think that's what many people are looking for. We group those categories by subject, and they all start with E. So there's a section for online and mobile work. There's a section for beat reporting, commentary, and so forth. Our wild card category this year is coronavirus on the community, in the community front lines. So there were so many options for large news stories last year, but the group decided that coronavirus was going to take the top option. So that's the one that changes each year. We also have, and we're just going to scroll. In our personnel categories, we do have editorial rookie of the year. Again, that is for journalists with less than 18 months experience in the field. So professional experience in the field that doesn't include internships. And submissions should include 3 to 5 clips of that reporter's work, along with a nomination letter by his or her manager, by their manager, including what their date of hire was. In terms of all of our personnel awards, that nomination letter from the manager is pretty key. We have a panel of judges that evaluates those personnel awards, and really what their manager says is pretty important. So make sure that you spend, doesn't have to be hours, but spend some time on that to increase that person's chances. Thinking if there's anything else we want to say about personnel before we move to organization-wide awards. So we have 4 major organization-wide awards. It's the General Website Excellence, the Jim Keat FOIA Award, Courage in Journalism, and Best Moves. Best Moves had its first year last year, and that honors the most important thing your organization did in the contest cycle. So that idea could be from any part of your organization. It is not necessarily, like this is the great editorial focus that we did. For instance, last year, in our inaugural year, we had 2 submissions. One was from the Baltimore Sun, and they highlighted their diversity committee. The second was from the Business Monthly, and they highlighted their redesign. So it truly is whatever the organization feels moved them forward the most within that contest year. That award is judged by our awards audience. It is, I hate to say it, highly unlikely that we will be together for our May 7th date, which would normally be our annual conference and awards event. If things change, I'm all for being there in person, but I think realistically it's going to be virtual again, and we'll do some of the similar things that we did this past year with sort of an episodic presentation of awards. And we had our best moves voted on by our audience at that point. So we'll do that again this year. Going back to our General Website Excellence Award, there's 5 criteria that are used in evaluating websites. And I think websites are really hard for many people because many publications are really constrained by their corporate skin. But in as much as we can judge it, the panel evaluates social media and engagement, local news coverage, navigation and design, multimedia and data visualization, and mobile responsiveness. The FOIA Award honors the publication's body of work. So that's the work that you've done in public records and FOIA requests throughout the year. So it doesn't have to be, like, here's the one, it can, but it doesn't have to be, here's the one thing that we did. It can be, here's some publications like to do, every Friday they're sending out FOIA Friday. Every week they're sending out requests and reporting on that. Some publications have a special, so-and-so investigate section. So whatever is your jam on the FOIA, and public records reporting, you can put it in the Jim Keat FOIA awards section. And then finally, our fourth organization-wide awards. And when I say organization-wide, it's not detailed for any one person, and one award is given across all divisions and all the membership. The last one is Courage in Journalism, and that was established in the wake of the shootings at the Capitol Gazette. And it honors acts of courage in journalism and strength in adversity while uncovering truth. So obviously, our industry is tested all the time. I think we can just look back, over the events even of the past week and think, oh my goodness, our journalists are really out there at the front lines, covering and bringing news to their communities, covering events and bringing news to their communities. So when you are entering for the Courage in Journalism Award, you want to send along a summary letter that describes the situation, the adversity faced, and the actions taken by the journalist or the newsroom. Again, just like personnel awards, these organizational-wide awards, really, it's so helpful to have a summary cover letter that helps the judges kind of articulate and understand what you're trying to present. Especially for FOIA awards, if you're, it's very difficult, that and Courage in Journalism, to provide some backstory. It's difficult to make an evaluation just based on here's 5 clips, because the judges don't always know what you're trying to convey. So I would think, so definitely create a nomination letter on that. And that's some of the basics there. Does that all make sense to you all at this point?
Yep.
All right, so now we are going to jump into the contest portal. We're back to the MDDC website. You see MDDC Press Contest Events /contests. The deadline for entries, that's the when part of our who, what, when, where, why. Deadline is January 31st, which is a Sunday, and everything is due by 11:59. So basically midnight, the end of the day, Sunday, the 31st. If you have troubles, you can always email me. I'll probably forward you to Anne and she'll take care of you. And all the contest rules are on the website. Let's go now to the contest portal. We have it linked in a variety of places. This is the Better BNC, the Better Newspaper Contest platform that we've used for many years. Again, there's a summary of the rules and eligibility. The entry fee is $15 per entry. And I have set up a test publication just for example purposes. So you'll need to know your password, and it stays from year to year. Most of you, I think everybody has entered more than once, so you're all contestant managers. If you're authorizing someone to put in entries on your behalf, oftentimes they're coming in as an authorized entrant. But for the most part, click contestant manager and call it a day. You're going to select your media organization. So for those of you who are submitting for a variety of publications within your ownership group, you do want, many times they're going to be in different circulation categories and so forth. So you want to choose the specific one instead of, there's no APG Media of Chesapeake. There's no Baltimore Sun Media Group. It's the individual publication that it appeared in. And so I'm going to scroll down to test I've created myself is just another publication. The password, if you forget your password, we can look it up for you. That's not a big deal. You can also have it regenerate just by clicking forgot password. If you run into a pickle that you don't even know, you click forgot password and you never get a password reset link and you have no idea even what email address your contestant manager is tied to, Anne and I can see that all in the back end. So don't worry, we will figure you out. And then you log in. Whoops, hang on. I think I might have just not, it's my usual fail of not thinking what my password is. Hang on. It's hard to do two things at once. Okay, so once you log in with your correct password, you can go to your account page. That will allow you to create authorized entrants if you want to do that, if you want to spread the work around. For our purposes, we're just going to stay on the manage entries page. And so here, I don't have any entries. I'm fresh in there. And so I'll show you how to put in the entry. So you want to, at the very first one, if you haven't submitted any, you just submit one now. Once you've submitted some, and you can go back over the course of the next couple weeks, anytime before January 31st, and keep adding your entries. You don't need to do it all in one fell swoop. So we're going to submit one now. Always double check that you're in the correct division. You know, sometimes things change. These carry over from year to year. So if you were in Division B last year, you're still in Division B for the most part, unless there's been some radical change in your circulation. If for some reason you're in the wrong spot, if you should be Division C and you're showing up as Division A, let us know and we'll switch that on the back end. Here in Division, and this is a change, formerly, you always would have chosen general and that was your only option. This year, we've decided to split it up a little bit so it can be a little bit more navigable. And so you're going to choose what division you want to be in, whether it's design or editorial, personnel, revenue, targeted publications, or organization-wide. So we're just going to choose design. And this has that nice little caveat to say you don't need to design this in-house, but the idea must have come with the news organization. Here you have all those D categories that we talked about. We're just going to do a business non-retail ad. It'll tell you what any requirements or any caveats for that category. So you put in your headline or whatever you're going to call it. So if it's an ad, you'll probably put in the advertiser name. So sample ad, and you're going to say when it has run. And so I'm just going to arbitrarily choose September 14th and 2020. Remember, it all has to end within 2020. Now, uploading attachments and links. You can always upload a PDF, and I am literally just going to randomly choose something and put it in. You can upload it as a JPEG or a PDF. You also, if you want, can just paste a URL. Now for ads, for like print ads, that might be kind of difficult. But if you have for stories, for things that are more easily captured online, you can paste your URL. You have, looks like a huge number of links to be able to paste whatever you need to paste there. If you have a link, you don't need a PDF. So they kind of work, you can do it either way. If you have a, sorry, I'm losing my word here. If you have a nomination letter or supplementary pieces, you will want to upload it. You know, it's hard to do that as a link. If you want to use the scrapbook feature, it's probably past the time that you would usefully use it, but this is a feature of the BNC platform that allows you to kind of stockpile and hold scraps and bits of articles and contest entries for later use. So you can use that if you like. In the comments, credits, and other information, this number of pages, you can literally just choose one. It can't be a null field. You have to put something in there, but we don't use it for anything else. So this comes up a lot when we're getting into targeted publications, and people always say, my publication is over 20 pages. What do I do? You don't have to do anything. You just need to make sure it's not a null field. So I just arbitrarily choose one. If you have any comments, here's where you put them. So things that can help provide context to the judges if you want. That's not a requirement. A lot of judges aren't like dogging the comments. The one exception to that is if you are presenting links and you normally have a paywall, create a contest or a judging login so that the judges can actually see your work. So the easiest way to not win a thing in your contest is to make it really hard for a judge actually to see it. So make sure that you have a live username and password that you can present to judges. They will judge basically from the beginning of February, and sometimes we need it all the way up to the end of April, primarily because there's always times when I need to pull a screenshot for something for the presentation. Sometimes, you know, like anything can change. So don't be stingy on your subscriber username and password for that. Credits on your entry. First name and last name, you can have up to 3 people. If you have more than 3, oftentimes you'll see, you know, the staff, you know, advertising staff, editorial staff, photography staff, whatever you care to do is fine. Just know that you have 3 slots for credits. Let's see, do I have, I think I have put everything in. You say I'm not a robot. Oops. And what have I forgotten here? Oh, I don't think I actually selected something. Sorry. Let's see if I can do that. And
You did.
I think I've done. I'm sorry, did someone have a question? Oh, I didn't put entry credit. So staff. I'm still not a robot, and I'm submitting my entry. And your official entry form is that you don't need to print this, you don't need to save it. You may remember from some years past that we had a certification that the publisher or editor had to sign saying that all the entries are certified to have run in that publication and run during the contest cycle. The simple fact that you're entering them is a tacit acknowledgement. We don't require a certification of originality any longer. If you want to save your entry form, you can. I don't need it. You don't need it for anything. But it does allow you to see what you're doing. You can submit another entry and just kind of continue on. It is a little bit of a laborious process because you're going one by one, but it allows you to kind of see what you've got. When you're finished, and actually here, I'll just do another one real quick, and we'll go so you can see how it looks when you're ready to finish it out. While we're doing that, do you all have any questions or concerns at this point?
For tear sheets, Rebecca, can they be zip filed? If that, for instance, you have a jump page, is it better to enter both pages as separate PDFs or to zip them?
When you think of it just from the judge's perspective, it is easier to have those in one PDF. If you can create them as merge them into one PDF. If you can't, just put them as 2 separate files.
Okay, thanks.
Now, we do have some members who kind of go the extra mile when they're working on their PDFs and like draw a red box around the actual entry. That is helpful if it's a page where there's so much information on it that that a judge could be unclear about what the actual entry is. Ann and I will go and look, and because we have to confirm all the entries, and we're also the first line of response when a judge has a question or a concern or can't get into something. And so we will follow up with people, but again, make people's lives easier, and your life will be simpler.
Becca, are
Any
you
other questions?
seeing? Yeah, I just have one. Can you hear me? It's Ashley.
Uh-huh.
Is there a preference of the link to the website versus a traditional PDF, like from judges,
Not,
or does it not matter?
it doesn't really matter. I mean, like selfishly, I'm putting together the presentation, and so I have to either screenshot the stuff that's on a URL versus, I download the PDF and I convert it to a JPEG. But, from a judging standpoint, I don't think it particularly matters as long as you have your subscriber information in there. And that, here's the other, if you have a archiving situation, or if you're pulling down articles at some point for whatever reason, you want to make sure that those links are still live and will be live throughout the contest judging cycle.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Rebecca, this may be just too arcane for everyone else, but I'll throw it out there anyway, because it might be something that other people are dealing with. We have subsumed one of our weekly papers. This is Connie Connolly, Star Democrat, and we've subsumed one of our weekly papers into the Star Democrat once a week. Which circulation division then would that be considered?
So is this, I think you're talking about the Recorder?
The Times Record out of Caroline County.
Oh, the Times Record. Okay. So, and that absorption happened during the 2020 contest cycle?
Yes.
Okay. I would still, for this year, you kind of started off as your central spot, as a standalone publication. For this contest cycle, I would keep it as the single lower circulation paper. For the 2021, I would put it in with the Star Democrat, because I mean, is it almost like a pullout, or is it like a page?
No, it's its own 4-page section, or sometimes 6-page section, but it doesn't have Star Democrat on the flag. It just says Times Record.
Okay, but it doesn't have its own postal permit anymore. It doesn't, like, it's not on its own anymore.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. And that happened mid-year.
I would, just for simplicity's sake, I would have it stay a standalone for this contest cycle. And then, in some ways, in 2021, you're probably not paying dues on that publication. You're probably counting it as part of the Star Democrat, and that's how you'd be guided.
Okay. Well, and I'll
like
talk about it with our team and see where we are with that too. But that's very helpful. Thank you.
Sure. I mean, in most things, if you follow the money, that's the logical way to go. Like, if you paid dues on a publication, then it's a standalone publication in my mind. And if you didn't pay dues on it and it runs within as a section of another publication, it is a larger publication.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions before we scamper on to how you kind of finish it out? Okay, so it's actually pretty straightforward. When you're finished, you're going to calculate the entry fee. As we said, it's $15 an entry. This is, and you can get, this is the thing that you should print, to be honest. The only category that doesn't have an entry fee is the public notice category, and which is free. And I would recommend, and just clarify also kind of the subtleties of the public notice category. So that is a category where a story is written based on a public notice that ran either in your publication or one out there in the world that you saw and reported on. So it's not, it's not like the prettiest public notice ad. It is reporting that has been sparked by a public notice advertisement that you've seen. And those are free because we really want to bolster the fact that notices are important to everyone. So here you'll get a summary essentially of everything that you have submitted, the title and so forth, and you can pay all. If you want, there's a couple different ways to pay. You can pay by PayPal or you can pay by check. So if you want to mail in your payment, totally fine. You just, have that outstanding entry fee, cut a check. It doesn't need to arrive by the 31st. I receive checks, basically throughout the month of February. And I will hunt down and bill people as well. And we actually kind of prefer checks because we don't have to pay credit card processing fees. Conversely, you can also pay by card. It will take you to the PayPal portal and you can either pay through PayPal if you want, or they have the pay by debit credit card. So whatever works for you. And that's how you run through. I would also print this page because it is a really good record of everything that you have submitted. If you, and so if you want to, if you want to check where something has gone, again, you just refer back to the things that you've printed and call it a day. And then finally, I just want to end with our, bear with me for just a second. Our last slide, just to give you my contact information. Again, this information, mddcpress.com/events/contest, is really your central hub. Of course, my phone number is there, 443-768-3281, and my email address are Snyder, SNYDER, @mddcpress.com. And that kind of takes us to the end of our session. Is there anything that I can help you with or answer while we're all here together?
I'll have questions once we get started, right?
Absolutely. And even if I don't encourage it, I will tell you that Ann and I are on deck that last weekend in January. So if you run into a trouble, like, I want you guys to be able to do your to enter your entry, your submissions, and participate in the contest. So don't feel like it's an imposition to reach out. I know we're all kind of just in time people, so we're here for you.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, thanks, guys. It's always such a pleasure to hang out with you, and I'm looking forward to seeing the amazing work that you guys are going to submit for the contest.